not easy being green. Having to spend each day the color of the leaves. When I think it might be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that.
Hi, we're at CERES learning about environmental issues.
Hello, I'm Georgie, and I'm with Shane today in CERES in Brunswick. Can you give us an overview of the initiatives and projects that CERES help to educate people about the environment?
The entire park is an education place, so anyone who comes can learn from the food they buy. They can find out how far the foods they've travelled when they buy it. It's got the kilometres written on the price tags. Or you can come as a school group, and we offer cultural programs and we offer energy programs, solar panels and stuff out the back. So it's all about renewable energy. We're all about food, growing local food, waste, and looking after waste, especially e-waste, is a huge problem now.
Hi, I'm Dakota and this is...
I'm Lauren.
And we're at CERES.
My role at CERES is Waste Program Coordinator. So my job is to help develop the programs that revolve around waste management, recycling, composting, anything to do with waste really. We focus a lot on how to sort through your bin, so separating recyclables from food waste, garden waste, those sorts of things. We also talk about composting. We also give lessons on food sovereignty, so how we use food, how we might waste food, how food gets distributed throughout the world. And we also talk about the impact that waste has in the long term. So how long does it stick around for? Yeah.
Awesome.
That e-waste, what do you mean by that, Shane?
The E is for electronic. So thinking mostly about things like phones and tablets and computers and televisions and stuff like that. So last year was about 50 million tonnes worldwide of e-waste was thrown out. And the top 10 toxins coming out of our rubbish tips right now are coming from electronic waste. So arsenic and mercury and lots of nasty stuff that basically gives you cancer and pollutes the environment and kills everybody. So we need to get busy on e-waste.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too good.
Do you know how much waste an average person creates a day, a week, a year?
On average, as of about 2010, we were using about just about 2,500 kilograms per person of general waste, and that's in Victoria. That's based on what is actually being collected, so that doesn't necessarily explain things that we might waste like water, what we might use when we go to a football game, those sorts of things. So it's just household collection is about 2,500 kilograms per year per Victorian.
Why is learning about environmental sustainability important?
For me, learning about environment and sustainability is about respecting everything else on the planet apart from humans. We've created an existence where we think we're the top of the chain and we're not. We're the bottom of the chain. The best example of that is if you took all the insects off the planet, the entire planet would die. They're more important than us. So I think for me, it's about learning respect and connection a little bit more to our surroundings. It can either be from an employment perspective or from an economic perspective, or you can think about it from, an environment perspective. It's totally up to you, but I don't think sustainability is any different to any other part of the community. It should be the pivotal thing that we have in our minds all the time.
What things can be recycled and what things can't, and what are some often mistakes people make?
That is an excellent question because here in Australia and in Victoria, depending on where you live, the rules are different. So general rule of thumb is if it's plastic, if it's soft, you can't recycle it. So that means if you can scrunch it up into a ball like cling wrap, something along those lines, unfortunately we can't recycle it, but if it's a hard plastic we can. And so your general, paper, glass, cardboard, those types of things are all recyclable. With phone recycling and battery recycling, general e-waste, electronic waste, often it's about doing your own research, so having to find those collection points yourself. There are also big drop-off points which every council has as well.
Do you think the government is doing enough to help with issues such as climate change and global warming?
No, I think they're doing the opposite to helping. I think the last government had a set of policies put in place that were going to reshape the economics of our future, and we're going to create some really fantastic things in our society. We're talking about nearly 1 million jobs, building wind farms, building solar panels, building all kinds of things. The current government, our Prime Minister said a couple of weeks ago that coal is good for humanity. Coal might be good for humanity for the next 30 years, but it's going to destroy everything eventually, It's not going to be so good for humanity when global warming kind of gets out of control. So I think the current government is actually doing more damage than any previous government has to do with the environment. Between us and Canada, we're the only two countries that are going backwards on taking action on climate change. And I think in 10 or 15 years, we're going to start realising we're behind the game now.
How else can we dispose our waste that can cause less harm to our environment?
Okay. A really great example of this is a biogas digester, which deals with our food waste. You can actually feed your food to a system that will produce methane gas, and you can collect that methane gas and use it for your cooking, your heating, your lighting. Okay, and a lot of people are starting to clue on to this idea in developing countries.
What would be your top tips to young people to be more environmentally friendly on a day-to-day basis?
Pick the easy things first. It's really easy, like my previous rant about global warming, to go, this problem's too big, I give up. But I think if you start with really, really simple stuff, and I think for young people, electronics would be a place to start. The new phone feeling with Jessica Mauboy running around giving you a new phone every year, that attitude has to change.
Okay, my number one top tip would be to consider how you consume. So how you buy clothes, how you consume food, and where you buy your food. What sort of games do you like to play? Are you into computers? Those sorts of things. So think about how you consume and how you can actually change your behavior to reduce that consumption. That's my number one top tip. Yeah.
Awesome.
The damage in constantly buying new electronics and chucking out your old ones is a huge global problem. And young people can lead that. I would like to see the idea that it becomes cool to keep a phone for 10 years as opposed to get a new phone every year,
Thanks for your time, Shane, and good luck with the rest of CERES.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
It's not easy being green.